All right, we're in session. The jurors are absent. State prepared to proceed. Be next witness.
Yes.
Who will that be?
Karen Berry.
Okay. Sheriff, ask the jury to come in, please. We're back in session. The jurors are again present. You may call your next witness.
The state calls Karen Berry.
Okay, Ms. Berry, come up, please. Ma'am, there's a Bible right here. If you put your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand, please, and face the clerk, take your oath.
Promise your testimony you give this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. I do. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, you might want to pull that mic up a little bit closer to you if you can. All right, thank you. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Berry, could you state your name for the jury?
Karen Berry.
Is that your full name?
Thank you.
All right.
Okay. And Ms. Berry, do you know Amanda Hayes?
Yes, sir.
And who is Amanda Hayes to you?
She's my sister.
And where are you from?
Katy, Texas.
And do you live over on Skinner Lane outside of Katy, Texas?
I used to.
Okay. And if you could, ma'am, when you lived there at Skinner Lane back in July of 2011, who lived there with you?
My husband, I, and my two sons, Shelton and Dalton.
Do you have any more children?
Yes, sir.
And could you tell us about those kids?
I have an older son, Daniel Berry, a daughter, Candace Rowland, and a daughter, Randy O'Connor.
And Ms. Berry, could you tell us, did you grow up with Amanda Hayes?
No,
Okay. And could you explain that?
I was older than she was by quite a bit, and I had already moved out of the house. She was born, I think, when I was probably about 14.
Okay. And can you scoot that microphone as close to you as you
Yeah.
can? We're going to make sure that everyone in
Okay.
the courtroom can hear. Now, as 2010 turned into 2011, were you aware that Amanda had been married?
Yes, I was aware when she was married.
You found out that she was married to Grant Hayes in April of 2010.
Yes, I believe she had called me a little bit ahead of time and told me she was planning to be married.
And in 2011, did you become aware that she was pregnant?
Yes,
And she eventually had a child in June of 2011?
yes,
Okay. And when Amanda was pregnant, did y'all talk on the phone?
yes, sir.
Okay. And how would you describe your relationship in 2011, I guess early 2011, with Amanda?
Just normal relationship.
Okay. Would you talk on the phone every day, every week, every month?
I don't really know exactly how often. We probably talked a little more than the year before,
Okay.
just simply because she was pregnant, and we talked about that.
Okay. And so that brought y'all closer together.
Well, just at that time, we've always been close.
Okay. And had she been down to your house on Skinner Lane before?
Yes.
And had she been on that creek fishing with your boys before?
No, sir.
Okay. Had she been fishing with you before?
Not with me, because I don't like to fish.
Okay. Had she been fishing with your boys before?
I don't think she had been
Okay.
at my house.
You don't think
And she'd never been fishing. I don't think she'd been fishing with my boys at my house. I don't know if she ever went fishing with them at the beach. I don't know.
Okay. And that's sometimes an activity that your boys would do, is go to the beach and fish.
Yes.
And Amanda had been to your house how many times previously?
I don't know. I mean, every couple years, or I don't know. Several times, but
Had Grant Hayes ever been to your house?
no, sir.
Had you ever met Grant Hayes?
No, sir.
And back in July of 2011, on a Friday, did you become aware that Amanda was going to come visit you?
I don't remember the exact date that I knew she was coming, but she had called me and told me she was coming.
And she called and said that she really missed you and that she wanted to come see you.
Yes.
And do you recall becoming aware that she left Raleigh to come down and see you?
Yes.
And do you know when she left Raleigh?
I don't know exactly when she left. I don't know exactly when she left.
Okay. Do you recall did she show up early on a Monday morning to your house?
Yes, sir.
And it was around like 5:30 in the morning?
Yes, sir.
And could you describe to the jury what happened when she pulled up?
Well, she pulled up. She was knocking on the door because I had fallen asleep waiting for them. And I just answered the door, and she come in with all the kids and Grant.
Okay. And there are the two little boys, Gentle and Grant the fourth, and then Lily as well.
Yes.
And at this time, Lily was around a month old.
Yes.
Do you know who was driving that SUV when it pulled up to your house?
I didn't see.
Okay. And did it have a trailer attached to it?
Yes, sir.
And when it originally parked at your house, was the truck, I guess the Durango part, was it facing towards your backyard?
Yes.
And so the trailer was closer to the street?
Yes, sir.
Now, at that point on that Monday, I guess did Amanda and Grant come inside and you play with the children?
Yes, sir.
And at some point, did Grant go to sleep?
Yes.
And what did Amanda do while Grant was asleep?
She helped me take care we took care of the kids, played with the kids. We may have all laid back down and taken a nap too, because it was early.
And you had been aware that they had been driving that Sunday prior to them arriving there?
Yes.
And you had been talking with Amanda on her cell phone, is that correct, in the weeks leading up to this?
Yes.
And do you recall what that phone number was?
I don't know.
Now that at some point she told you that she was leaving to come down and visit you,
Yes.
and she told you that the reason why is that she wanted to see you.
She said that, well, we'd been trying to get together for a while, and she said that she really missed me and she was coming to see me. She needed to see me.
And about a month prior to this, your mother had passed away.
Yes, sir.
Jumping back to that Monday and Sunday when she arrived. On that Sunday, were you aware that she was on her way down to see you?
On Sunday, yes.
And did you try to call her? Was her cell phone on?
If I remember correctly, she told me that she had had to turn off her cell phone because the battery was getting low, I don't know if she said they didn't have a charger or what. I just know that she told me the battery was trying to save the battery.
And so she turned off her cell phone for most of Sunday?
I believe so.
And in fact, you communicated mostly via text at that point?
I believe so.
Going back to that Monday morning when Grant, Amanda, and his 3 children arrived, how long did Grant sleep for?
I don't remember exactly, but I know probably a couple hours.
Okay. You remember telling detectives that he slept for around 7 hours that day?
I'm thinking, I just don't remember exactly, but I know he slept for a period of time.
And Grant and Amanda eventually left on that Wednesday at around noon. Is that accurate?
When they left there, yes, sir.
Okay, so to go back to North Carolina, they left just
Yes.
on Wednesday noon. Over those couple days, would you and Amanda take care of the children?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever see Grant take care of the children?
Very seldom.
Was Grant ever alone with the children?
I don't know. I don't know if he was alone with the children at all, because he didn't, pretty much, he just handed them to us all the time.
Okay. And during this time, Lily is a month old. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
And so, have you ever made the drive from North Carolina to Katy, Texas?
No, sir.
Yeah, but that 1 month old was in the car with them all the way down here. As best you know.
Yeah, I would think so.
Now, on Monday night, did you play with the kids more?
I played with the kids probably from the time they got there as much as I possibly could. That's when I'd first seen them.
And on that Monday, were your sons also at home, Shelton and Dalton?
I really don't remember who was there when they got there.
Moving on to that Tuesday morning. On that Tuesday morning, did Amanda take you aside?
On Tuesday morning, yes, sir.
Okay. And she sat down with you and talked to you, didn't she?
Yes, sir.
And what did she tell you?
She told me that she needed to talk to me. It was serious. And I told her, well, just give me a minute and we can sit down. Or I don't know exactly how it happened right there, but she told me that Laura was dead and that she had done it.
And ma'am, when you sat down with Amanda to talk about that, did she describe what had happened?
No.
At some point, did Amanda tell you that Laura had told her something about taking her kids?
Yes.
And what was that Amanda told you?
She had told me, because when we sit down in the swing, because it was a kind of a break there, and we sit down in the swing, and she told me that Laura had said that, had told her that, Laura had told Amanda that she had taken her children and that she was going to take hers away from her.
What was Amanda's demeanor like when she was talking to you?
I don't know. I don't know. I really just don't know. She was just sitting talking to me.
And jumping forward, around a week later, the next Sunday, you ended up sitting down with detectives, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And that was there at your property.
Yes, sir.
And then you ended up talking to detectives again later that day at the police station.
Yes, sir.
And then again, you talked to detectives a day later at a lawyer's office.
Yes, sir.
You sat down and talked to detectives 3 times.
I believe it was 3 times.
And you told detectives that you could tell that Amanda was serious when she was having that conversation with you on that Tuesday.
I don't remember saying that she was serious, because I really, I don't, as you were asking about her demeanor, I really just don't remember if she was real serious, I don't remember. I don't know.
And at some point, you promised her that you wouldn't say anything. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And did she say at some point, if you could tell the jury, did she say something about pushing or shoving Laura?
I don't know if she said that. It's in my statement, but I don't know if she said that. I think that what I didn't want to believe that she told me she was dead. And I was just trying to think that she was hurt and that she pushed her or something. She was hurt. I didn't want to believe that she was dead.
That Tuesday morning, as you had that conversation with her, was Grant Hayes also in the vicinity?
Yes.
And you and Amanda had sat down outside by a swing, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And at some point, Grant Hayes came over.
Yes.
And at that time, did you become aware of what was in that U-Haul trailer?
No, not really. Maybe suspicious, or because at this time I wasn't even really thinking anything. I just was there. I didn't know what to think. But I really didn't. Maybe I became suspicious of it because of things they were saying.
Sure. And on that Tuesday morning, you were asked about where there was a Home Depot, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And at that point, did anyone, do you recall, say anything about acid?
Yes, sir.
And was that Grant Hayes who mentioned the acid?
Yes, sir.
And Amanda Hayes is still sitting there with you?
Yes, sir.
And at some point, do you and Amanda walk into the backyard towards your septic tank?
Yes, sir.
And what was the purpose of walking back there with Amanda towards that septic tank?
They had asked me when we were in the swing if I knew of any property where there was a big hole. And I told them no, I really didn't know of any property where there was a big hole. And then Grant had said something because we have a well house in the front yard where we have a well, and he had said something about, was that a well? And I said, well, that doesn't have a hole, because he was asking for a big hole. And then I said, there's a septic tank in the backyard. And we walked back there.
And as you headed towards that septic tank, it was you and Amanda?
I believe so. I don't remember if Grant was with us or not. I don't remember, because I just don't remember for sure if he was with us then or not.
At some point as you're walking back towards that septic tank, do you deviate from the septic tank, or do you say, what if anything do you say to Amanda?
I just, on the way back there, I guess I realized that what I had said, and I was suspicious of what was going on, and I just told her that this wasn't a good idea.
After you mentioned that the septic tank wasn't a good idea, where did the conversation lead after that?
I don't remember. I'm like, I don't remember where it went from there.
At some point did they talk to you about the creek across the street from your property?
Yes, sir.
And I guess later that morning, did they go to
Yes, sir.
Home Depot?
Yes, sir.
And how did they drive to Home Depot?
They
What
would-
vehicle?
They would have had to borrow one of our vehicles. I don't remember which one, but one of our vehicles.
At that point, that trailer was still attached to the Durango?
Yes, sir.
And at some point, was that Durango turned around so it was facing the street?
Yes, sir.
And when did that happen?
I turned it around. I don't remember. Oh, yes, I do. I remember. I turned it around on the morning that they got there, which would be Monday, while they were sleeping.
And is that because, well, if you could, was it sort of in the way where it was initially parked?
Well, when Amanda first got there, she had asked me if there was still room in the backyard to turn the trailer around, because she couldn't back up the trailer. And I told her yes, but I would have to do it because it has to kind of be maneuvered around back there to do it. So I had told her I would do it, and while they were sleeping, I just saw the keys laying there, and I just went out and turned it around.
And after you turned around, the truck was facing towards the street, and the U-Haul trailer was facing towards the back yard, towards that hog pen.
Yes, sir.
Going forward to Tuesday, at that point today, leave your house and go in another vehicle to that Home Depot.
Yes, sir.
When they left, where were the children?
I had them.
And in fact, at some point, did Amanda text you about the children?
Yes, sir.
And do you recall the nature of that text?
Yes. I was out in the backyard with the boys because they were playing in sand, building sand castles, and she had sent me a text because that's where I was when they left, and she told me to not forget that Lily was laying on in the bed asleep. So
And when you say the boys, you're outside with
Grant and Gentle.
Grant and Gentle, and Lily was still inside,
Yes, sir.
and Amanda just sent you a text to remind you that
Yes, sir.
Lily was inside. Okay. When they were gone that Tuesday morning, those children stayed in your custody the whole time?
Yes, sir.
At some point that Tuesday, did you become aware of what was in that trailer?
I can't really say become aware. I was just suspicious.
At some point, did a piece of furniture show up on your front porch?
Yes, sir.
And it had U-Haul blankets on it?
Yes, sir.
It was this antique hutch.
Yes, sir.
When did that appear on your front porch?
I think that Monday night it was taken out of the trailer late sometime and sit in the front yard right by the trailer. It was just sitting there. And I believe later on that day, my older son and two of my sons put it up on the porch out of the front yard.
Neither of your sons moved it out of the U-Haul trailer.
No, sir.
Okay. Did they offer?
I had told my youngest son and one of his friends had come over, or maybe I think he spent the night. I had told them that I wanted them to hang around or stuff because they would need help to get the piece of furniture out of the trailer because Amanda didn't need to be moving it. She had just had a baby.
Okay. And based on what you saw, was Amanda and Grant the one who took the piece of furniture out of the trailer?
I didn't see them take it out. That's just what they told me.
But your son or his friend wasn't involved?
No,
with you?
sir.
And this is your younger son?
Yes, sir.
And what's his name?
Dalton.
And how old was Dalton back in July of 2011?
Well, he's 21 now, so whatever. 4 years ago, I got through.
2 or 3 years ago, so
Yeah.
18 or 19, somewhere around.
I'm not good with numbers, and right now my brain's not.
Okay. And you had an older son that was living in the house with you as well, and that was Shelton?
Yes, sir.
And is Shelton the one who would capture those wild hogs?
Yes, sir.
And he had a business?
Yes, sir.
And that was, we've seen some pictures of a truck that has courier control on it.
Yes, sir.
That was his truck?
Yes, sir.
And Shelton, how much older is he than Dalton?
He's 23. He's 2 years older.
He's 2 years older, so back then he was around 21 or so.
Yes.
Jumping back to that Tuesday evening, at some point did your daughter Candace come over?
On Tuesday, yes, sir.
And what was the purpose of Candace coming over?
To see Amanda.
And on that Tuesday evening when Candace came over, do you remember if it was light or dark out when she came over?
I don't remember exactly what time she got there, but I know it wasn't dark yet.
Okay.
I can't really say I know it wasn't dark. I think it was maybe just before dark.
And this is in the summer in Texas?
Yes.
Okay, so does it stay light pretty late where you live?
I really can't tell you.
Okay. So,
I go to bed early, so I can't tell you.
okay. Back then, in July of 2011, do you recall around what time you went to bed? Just generally.
In general,
Yes, ma'am.
probably pretty early, because
And when you say pretty early, around what time?
it could be 6 to 8:30.
When Candace came over, were Amanda and Grant at the creek?
When she came over?
Yes, ma'am.
No.
Okay. At some point, did Amanda and Grant go to that creek?
Yes, sir.
And what did Amanda tell you about going to the creek?
I don't even remember what she told me. I just knew that they were going in the boat.
Okay. Did they say something about fishing?
They didn't say.
And I guess, was Candace there while they were at the creek and not in the house?
Yes, sir.
And so where were the children at this time?
With Candace and I.
And at some point, did Amanda ask to borrow clothes from you?
Yes, sir.
And did she say why she wanted to borrow clothes?
She didn't say.
Do you recall giving her a long sleeve gray shirt?
Yes, sir.
And are there a lot of mosquitoes near that creek in the summer in Texas?
Yes, sir.
Did she borrow any other clothes from you?
I believe a pair of sweatpants.
Were those clothes ever returned to you?
No, sir.
I'm sorry, you said no.
No.
And how long, or if you could tell the story, around how long was Amanda and Grant out of the house at that creek?
I think it's a couple hours.
Now that Tuesday night, did you have to pick up Dalton from his job?
Yes, sir.
And where was Dalton working?
He was working at Famous Footwear Shoe Store.
And did you have to pick him up?
Yes, sir.
And around what time would you pick him up from that shoe store?
Normally I'd pick him up if I had to pick him up around 10 o'clock, but that day he got off early.
And did you need to go pick him up? Did he contact you and say?
Yes, sir.
And at that point, had Candace left the house?
Yes, sir.
So in the house, was it just you and the children?
Yes, sir.
And I guess, did you need Amanda or Grant to come back before you could go?
Yes, sir.
And at some point, did Amanda and Grant come back?
Yes.
Okay. And Amanda came back in the house?
Yes, sir.
And when she came back in the house, I guess you sort of passed off the kids and went to pick up Dalton?
Yes, I was running late, so she just came in and I went out.
Do you recall around what time that was? Is it
I'm
close?
going to say about 9:45 because Dalton had got off he was supposed to get off at 10 and he got off at 9:30 instead, and he was already waiting for me. So between 9:30 and 10 o'clock, but I think about 9:45 because I was late.
When you came back home on that Tuesday evening with Dalton, did you look inside that trailer? The U-Haul trailer?
When I came back from picking Dalton up from work, no.
At any point up to that night, had you looked inside that U-Haul trailer?
I've never seen inside the U-Haul trailer.
And when you came back, was that around the time that you typically went to sleep?
Yes.
And did you go to sleep that Tuesday night?
Not just immediately.
Do you remember who was in the house when you came home? Or who was around?
Grant, Amanda, the children, and I believe Shelton was there, and then Dalton came back with me.
Do you recall what Amanda was wearing at that time?
I want to say shorts, but I don't remember exactly.
And did you talk with Grant and Amanda and play with the kids further?
I know we played with them a little bit, but I don't know how long because it was late. I don't know how long.
And that was late to when you typically go to sleep, so you went to sleep.
Yes.
When you woke up the next morning, did you see any new objects on your property?
This would be Wednesday morning?
Yes, ma'am.
Not really, but I didn't go outside a lot because I fixed breakfast and was doing the stuff and that kind of stuff.
At some point in that morning, did you see Grant and one of your sons cleaning out coolers?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall around what time that was?
I want to say mid-morning because, like I said, I'd been cooking breakfast and stuff, and then I know that they did it, and Grant and Amanda left around noon, so I'm going to say mid-morning. That's just an estimate.
Sure. Do you recall how many coolers there were out there?
I believe there was 2 that they were cleaning out, but I don't know for sure exactly. But I think I saw 2.
And at some point, did you see Grant washing out the inside of the U-Haul trailer?
I think I saw him like from my porch. I think I saw him out there with the water hose doing it. Yes.
At some point, did you become aware of anything happen? Did you ever see anybody or anything happen in the hog pen?
No, sir.
I guess as you saw Grant spraying out the inside of that U-Haul trailer, at that point, did you believe that there was a piece of furniture that was taken out of there? Did you ask him why he was spraying out the inside of their trailer?
I really didn't ask because our driveway is a dirt driveway, and anytime I've ever used a U-Haul trailer, I had to clean it out just from stepping in it from the dirt and stuff. So I really didn't ask.
That Wednesday morning, at some point, did you stop Amanda and ask her if she was covering for Grant?
Yes, sir.
And did she nod her head yes?
Yes, sir.
Later that morning, did Grant and Amanda leave?
Yes, sir.
At some point that morning, was the trailer returned to the U-Haul facility?
Yes, sir. I just know that they did. I wasn't there, but I know they did.
And I guess, did they come, so the Durango had the U-Haul trailer on it, and then at some point later that morning, was there just the Durango on your property and no U-Haul trailer?
No, it was on there the whole time it was
Okay.
at my house.
When they left your house at noon that day, the U-Haul trailer was still connected?
Yes, sir.
And did you see them trying to pack up the Durango?
I didn't see what they were packing. I was with the kids inside the house.
And I guess, did you ever see them putting anything into the trailer, or was your impression that they were returning that and packing everything into the car?
I knew they were supposed to return the trailer, so but I didn't see them loading it and stuff.
So you didn't really see them loading either of those objects?
No.
I would say. I guess when they left, were there 2 coolers left on your property?
There were 2 that were left there, yes.
And were you aware of if those would fit into the Durango, or did you have any knowledge
I
of that?
wasn't aware. I didn't even know at first they'd been left.
Okay. And after Grant and Amanda left on that Wednesday, you saw these 2 coolers at your house?
I don't remember if it was that day. I don't think it was that day that I saw them. I found out later on.
Okay. And one was kind of on the side porch of your house, is that accurate?
I believe so.
And the other one was between your house and that general store building? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And additionally, when they left, did you find a machete on your property?
Not when they first left.
Okay, when did you find that?
I don't remember exactly when I found it. I don't remember if it was the next day or 2 days after, because my son first found it
Okay.
and told me about it.
Your son told you about it?
Yes,
And what did you tell him?
I told him to leave it alone and stay away from it.
And what did you do with that machete?
Well, after it laid out there for a while and it was driving me crazy, it was laying out there, and I just didn't want the boys messing with it. I picked it up and took it out to the barn, and I went to stick it up in some boards to hold it there, and when I did, it fell.
And it fell
And I
back
just
on.
left it there. It fell back behind the boards, and I just left it there.
And did you also take a towel and put it above the washing machine that was in there?
Yes, sir.
And that was to your left as you entered that barn.
Yes, sir.
Some days later, well, actually strike that. The machete, you mentioned that you told your son to stay away from that.
Yes, sir.
Did you tell them anything about the coolers?
I didn't realize the coolers were there at first, but when I did find out, because one of my sons had taken one of the coolers with him to go hog hunting, and I had told him to take it out of his truck and leave it alone and not to use it.
And you're aware that that Wednesday morning those coolers were being cleaned out?
I was where someone was, that Grant was cleaning out the coolers in the front yard because it's just right out the front door, and he was washing out the coolers.
That towel that you put in the barn, was that one of the towels that was used to clean out the coolers?
I believe so. I found it laying out in the yard. Well, I believe it was laying on one of the vehicles. It was close to where they were cleaning out the coolers, and therefore I just thought that's what it was, and I picked it up and put it up.
Now jumping forward a couple days, that Sunday morning, was there a knock on your door with some law enforcement personnel?
Yes, sir.
Were you surprised to see them?
Not really.
And there were two detectives from Raleigh, North Carolina that were down there?
Yes, sir.
And you sat down with them, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And they began to speak to you about why they were there.
Yes, sir.
And before you spoke with them, you stopped and you prayed. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
And why did you pray at that moment?
Well, when they came in when they first got there, that's what I was doing, was reading my Bible and praying. And when they come in, I knew I had to talk to them, and I just needed to say a prayer that God give me the strength to tell them what they needed to know.
And when you talked with them that day, you told them about what Amanda had said to you that Tuesday morning?
About what?
About hurting Laura.
Yes.
And you told those detectives that day that Amanda said that she hurt Laura and hurt her bad.
I told them that day, but I really think that she told what I think. I think I wanted to believe that she was just hurt, that she wasn't dead.
You also told those detectives during that interview that Amanda had told you that Laura wasn't a good person.
She had told me that another time on a phone call or something about because of their custody battle.
Sure. And so I guess at this point on this Sunday when you're talking with detectives, did you know much about Laura Ackerson?
I really didn't know anything about her.
And all that you really knew about her was what Amanda told you from that custody dispute?
We didn't talk about the custody battle a whole lot, so I just knew there was a custody battle and that they were, it was just.
And in one of those conversations, that's when Amanda told you that Laura wasn't a good person.
Sometimes she just told me that she wasn't a good person. I think she was talking more or less like a good mother for the boys or something, taking care of. I don't know. She just told me she wasn't a good person.
And as you had talked to Amanda prior to when she showed up at your property, you found out that she and Grant were in a financial strain.
She had never told me. I didn't know. I found out in another way.
And how was the way that you found out?
Shay had told me, her daughter had told me that they were having financial difficulties.
And you spoke to Shay. Did you speak to Shay frequently before this happened in July 2011?
probably. I can't say exactly. I mean, we're close and we talk, but I can't tell you exactly, not daily or just anything.
And Shay had called you when Grant and Amanda were on their way to Texas to find out where her mother was?
She had called me probably to see if I knew where they were or what, but she knew they were coming, but she called me.
Her phone was off, so she couldn't get
Yes.
Okay. And in terms of Amanda's financial situation, were you aware that after her second marriage she had come into some money?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and could you explain to the jury how that happened?
How, what happened?
Well, I guess was it, Amanda's second husband passed away, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And she received some money through his estate, is that
Yes,
accurate?
sir.
And she had been living off that money for several years.
I could tell you I took that for that's what I took her to be living off. Do I know for a fact how, what? No, I don't. I didn't get into her financial.
Okay. I guess when you had talked to Amanda before she had gotten married to Grant, I guess were you aware that she was doing some acting?
I knew she had done some kind of acting in, I think she did some, trying to think what it's called, just some play acting in plays in New York, like that.
At some point that Sunday morning when you're talking to these detectives, did they, after hearing you talk about some of these conversations, did they stop you and ask if Laura was there?
I believe they did.
And what did you tell them?
I told them I didn't know, but that I was afraid that she could be.
And did you direct them across the street to that creek?
Yes, sir.
Got 1 minute, Ryan.
Sure.
At that point, when you were speaking with detectives, did you explain why you believe that why there was a possibility that Laura was in that creek?
With just everything that had been going on, finding out that she was missing and that they had went out in the boat.
That
Oh my-
Tuesday night they went out in the boat.
Yes.
And when Amanda was either on her way to your property or before she came down to that property, did you have your boys mow the path between the street and where that boat was located?
Yes, sir.
And why did you have them mow that path?
Because they had said before they were come, Amanda had said, and Grant had said they had wanted to take the kids, the little ones, fishing, and I had one of my sons go over and mow down because it was grown up, so they could get down through there to get to the boat or
You
to
said that-
go fishing.
Sorry. You said that Amanda or Grant said that. Did you ever talk to Grant on the phone?
Not about that, I don't believe.
Prior to them coming down there, did you talk to Grant on the phone?
I probably talked to Grant maybe 2 times on the phone, but not prior to that time. This is over the whole time. I've only talked with Grant on the phone 2 to 3 times my whole life. I've
Okay.
never.
And those 2 to 3 times that you talked to Grant, were those after Grant and Amanda had come down to see you in Texas, or those before?
Before.
Before. And those are 2 to 3 times in your whole
The
life?
whole
that you've
life,
known
yeah.
them? And you mentioned that Amanda or Grant had mentioned to you that they wanted to take the kids fishing. At any point, did those boys go fishing on that creek?
No, sir.
That Tuesday night when Amanda asked to borrow some clothes, did you know where she was going with those clothes?
I knew she was going in the boat
How did you know she was going in the boat?
because she said they were.
Did you ask her why she was going in the boat?
No. I didn't want to know.
later that, jumping back to when you were talking with detectives that next Sunday, later that Sunday, did you go in and speak with detectives at the police station?
Yes, sir.
And did you mention to them that you tried to tell Amanda that doing the right thing is always better?
Yes, sir.
And in fact, when you had learned this information from Amanda the prior Tuesday, did you ask her if she wanted to talk to an attorney?
Yes, sir.
And did she take you up on that?
No, sir.
Did you tell detectives on that Sunday evening, I guess, at the police station, about what Amanda had told you on that Tuesday?
About what she had told me.
I guess on that Sunday, when you talked to detectives when they came to your house, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And then I guess they cordoned off the area and more police showed up, and you went to the police station, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And when you're at the police station, did you tell detectives more of what had happened that Tuesday?
Yes, sir.
And you told detectives during that second interview that Amanda fishes and she knows how to use a boat.
Yes, sir.
And at some point, I guess, did you become aware of some mention of going fishing at the beach when Amanda and Grant were there?
Well, that was their plan when they come down. We talked they had said that when they got there, they would like to go to the beach and go fishing.
Did they ever go to the beach and go fishing?
No, sir.
Do you recall telling detectives that Amanda took Shelton's truck to the store 2 or 3 times?
I knew she had taken our vehicles, and I knew she took Shelton's truck. Now, I don't know how many times or which one she took when.
Did you also tell detectives that her shoes broke?
So I think one of her shoes, I think something was broke with her shoes.
And I guess did she need a pair of shoes?
Yes, she did.
Did she borrow some shoes from you? Or what happened?
She went to get some. She went to buy some.
And then after that second interview on that Sunday night, again, were you interviewed around a day or 2 later at an attorney's office?
Yes, sir.
And that attorney, was his name Dick Tate?
Yes, sir.
And was he a gentleman that was helping you?
Yes, sir.
And did you request that detectives come out and talk to you again?
Yes, sir.
And why was that?
Because on the initial interview at the detective's office, I was trying to tell them everything, but I just kept holding back because I just didn't know what to do, and there were more things that I hadn't told them, and I needed to tell them.
And that third interview, is that when you told detectives about that walk to the septic tank?
Yes, sir.
And that you had a knowledge that Laura was dead
Yes, sir.
when Grant and Amanda were at your house that Tuesday?
Yes, sir. I believe it might have been in that interview, or I may have made a phone call back and told them because I didn't remember it initially.
And if you could tell the story, what do you remember about Amanda asking about an apartment complex?
I think they were asking for I think they were asking for a dumpster.
And did you end up giving them directions to the Pecan Grove apartment?
Yes, sir.
And is that north of your house on Skinner Lane, or sort of off Skinner Lane in that direction?
Direction-wise, I think it's south, but
Okay.
it could be north. I'm not,
Okay.
but it's close.
It's close by. Around how far away is it from your house?
Within 5 miles, but I don't know.
Do you recall telling detectives in that interview that you had offered, when you had that conversation with Amanda about if she needed a lawyer, that was before she told you that Laura was dead?
I I think it was after
Okay.
she had told me.
And in your backyard, there are some burn piles, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And back in July of 2011, was there a prohibition on burning stuff?
Yes, sir.
And why was there a prohibition?
We were in a drought.
On one of those burn piles, was there a tannish, greenish suitcase that Amanda had left?
Yes, sir.
And where did you find that suitcase?
I want to say it was sitting on my front porch.
And additionally, in those burn piles, there were some bleach containers.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And previously, you looked at pictures of those bleach containers. And was that the bleach that you used?
It was the type I used,
Okay.
and I used a lot of bleach. We have a lot of bleach bottles all the time out there, so I don't know if they were mine or
Okay.
anything else.
But in those burn piles, it's common for you to
Yes.
have bleach bottles out there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And in that third interview, again, did you tell detectives that Amanda told you that she had hurt Laura bad and that it was serious?
In the third interview,
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know what I said in that one. I just know that I told him, I believe I told him she was dead and that I wanted to believe, but I had told him that she said she was dead.
And in fact, between that Monday and Wednesday that Grant and Amanda was at your property, you told detectives you wanted them gone, didn't you?
On Wednesday morning I did. I just wanted them to be gone, just to leave. I didn't want to be involved in this.
Have one moment, Your Honor.
All right.
Barry, taking back to that time when Grant and Amanda were on your property, at some point did Grant use your computer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and did he leave, I guess, a note in front of that computer?
He left something beside it. I don't know what it was. I just knew he had left something there.
Did you point that out to detectives?
Yes, sir.
And during this time period, I guess on that Monday night, who slept in your house on that Monday night, to the best of your knowledge?
Well, it had been a Grant and Amanda and I, and little Grant and Gentle. I don't remember who else. I think that my son was there, and if I'm not mistaken, he may have had someone sleep over that night. But I'm not sure about. They were teenagers, and sometimes they were there, sometimes they weren't. I don't remember.
And your husband at the time, he was a truck driver?
Yes,
Okay, and so was he off and on the
he
road?
was gone.
Okay. Now that Tuesday night, when you went to sleep, who was awake that you saw in your house at that time?
On Tuesday
On Tuesday
night,
after you got back from the shoe store?
I know Amanda, Grant, and I and the kids. I don't know if the boys were there that night. On Monday night, they were there. Dalton and his friend were there because he had slept over. Dalton and them had been, his friend dad is a police officer, and they were doing some work with the SWAT team where they were training, and my son Dalton and his son were off, and they got out real late, and then they had come back and spent the night at the house Monday night. So they were there on Monday night.
On that Tuesday night, do you know what time Shelton came home?
I don't know.
Okay. Did you ever talk to Shelton about what he saw when he came home?
I'm not sure which night he saw it. I know he came home one night, and that late, it was like real late, like 2:33, somewhere. And Grant and Amanda were sitting out on the tailgate of his pickup. He had went to Denny's to eat with friends, I think is what it was.
And do you believe that was Tuesday night, or do you know for sure?
I really don't know for sure which night it was.
But you remember finding out that...
I thought it was Monday night. I thought it was Monday night, but when I spoke with Shelton, Shelton tells me Tuesday, so I don't know. I thought it was Monday night.
But he comes home from a late night trip to Denny's and sees Grant and Amanda sitting on the tailgate of a truck.
Yes, sir.
And Tuesday night, I guess, going into Wednesday morning, that Tuesday evening, that was when Grant and Amanda went on that creek at night.
On Tuesday night, yes.
Okay. Are there street lights on your street?
No, sir. There's a security light in our front yard, but other than that, it's dark. It's a dark road.
Okay. And that creek, is it pretty dark back there at night?
Yes, sir.
Miss Berry, at any point on that Monday through Wednesday, did you see Amanda's leg bleeding?
I don't know. I don't.
Did you ever see any blood?
On Amanda or?
Anywhere over those 3 days, did you see any
Grant
blood?
had something, some kind of injury or something to his hand.
Okay, and you gave him some ointment for,
Yes, sir.
for a cut he might have had?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I guess when Amanda left on Wednesday morning and into Tuesday, was she limping at all?
I don't know.
And going back to your first interview when you talked with detectives, before you told them about what had happened on that Tuesday, do you recall telling them that you can't stand the thought of facing Amanda in court?
I said something along that line that I can't stand the thought of having to go to court and testify.
And you went on to say, please take care of her when you pick her up, please.
I asked them to please take care of her when they arrested her.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. Jasper, do you have questions?
Yes, Your Honor,
All
thank
right,
you.
go ahead.
Good afternoon, Ms. Berry.
Hello.
Take your time.
Okay.
You okay?
I'm fine.
Okay. Let me ask you about the relationship that you and Amanda have had through the years.
What do you?
What kind of relationship did you have with Amanda?
We're close.
You, in earlier years, Amanda had lived with you, hadn't you?
Yes, sir.
And
From the time she was probably about 4, on and off, she would come to live with me at different times.
and you're older than Amanda, aren't you?
Yes.
I don't mean to offend you in any way.
Oh, I'm fine. I think and I'm not exactly sure, but I'm probably about 13, 14 years older than she is.
So when Amanda was living with you, she was a child.
Yes, sir. Yes, different times. She's lived with me on and off at different times all of her life.
And whenever Amanda was in some kind of mischievous activity, you would sit her down and tell her, Amanda, I want you to be honest with me. I want you to tell me the truth. Is that the way it worked?
I raised her part of her life, and along with my children, my children, some of them are close to her age. And I just had this thing where I always told my kids that if you've told me a lie, and I sit you down and I ask you again, that's your chance to be honest with me and tell me the truth. And the best thing for you to do is to tell me the truth. And that's what I had done with Amanda. I had taught her the same thing, that when I ask you, that's your chance to be honest with me.
In other words, you have one chance. I'm going to ask you one time, are you telling me the truth? Is that right?
Yes.
You did that with Amanda as well as your own
Yes, sir.
children. And now, you learned in, well, how often had you seen Amanda during the time that she and Nikki were married?
When her and Nikki were married several times, because they lived in Austin, which wasn't too far from where we lived. And her daughter Shay lived with me during that time some, so Amanda would come back and forth.
So you were seeing Amanda fairly often during that entire period of time?
Often, not all the time, but often, more than usual, yeah.
When you weren't seeing her, you were talking to her on the telephone.
Quite a bit,
You stayed in touch with her.
yes.
Now, you found out that she and Grant had gotten married in 2010.
Yes, sir.
correct? And you'd never met Grant.
No, sir.
Did you learn that not long after that she was pregnant?
Yeah, I learned that she was pregnant. I don't remember how long after.
Okay. And by this time, Shay, her other daughter, was pretty much already grown, wasn't she?
Yes, sir.
Now, your mother and Amanda's mother died on June 7th, 2011, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Amanda was not able to come out to visit with you during that period of time because she was about to give birth to Lily. Is
Yes,
that
sir.
correct?
Yes, sir.
And were you talking to her on the telephone then about when you could get together, knowing that she couldn't come at that moment?
Yes, sir.
As we come up on July, sometime around mid-July, you heard from Amanda about coming out to visit with you sometime around July 15th. Would that be safe?
Yes, sometime around there.
And she called you and told you that she wanted to come out and visit because she hadn't been able to come out and visit earlier,
Yes,
and she wanted to see you.
yes.
Now, during that conversation, did she talk to you about bringing Lily?
I'm not sure. I don't remember. I don't remember specifically. I don't.
Do you recall that she was not planning to bring the two little boys, little Grant and
Yes, yes. I knew that she wasn't going to bring them.
And the reason that she wasn't going to bring them was because their mother, Laura, would be picking them up on Friday afternoon for the weekend. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So when the initial plans were made for her to come to Texas, the boys weren't included in that trip, were they?
I don't believe so.
And at some point during your conversation, she asked you if you would like to have the piece of furniture that she had in storage. You recall
Yes,
that?
sir.
And so you told her that yes, you would like to have it.
Yes, sir.
Were you familiar with that piece of furniture?
I knew which piece of furniture it was, yes.
So you knew that it was a nice piece of furniture, that it was a large chest.
I knew it was a nice piece of furniture, and it was large. I knew that.
And if she was willing to give it to you, then you were willing to accept it.
Yes.
After that conversation, did you again talk to Amanda and find out that little Grant and Jill would have to be making the trip also?
At some point, I found out that, yes, I found out that they were all coming, yes.
And did she tell you that the reason the boys were also coming was because Laura hadn't shown up to pick up the boys when Grant went to drop them off?
Yes,
During that conversation, or any of the conversations that you were having with Amanda, is that when she talked to you about letting the boys go fishing while they were on that trip?
yes,
And the initial plan was that the boys would go fishing at the beach, is that correct?
yes.
So,
I think they were gonna go at the beach and there at the house, but they were gonna take them fishing. They were supposed to take them to the beach.
okay, that was the conversation that you had and what you were expecting once the boys got there.
Yes,
Now, did you know exactly what day they would be getting there?
after they left, I knew when they were on the road and knew then exactly what day they would be there.
And I believe that you had indicated that you were waiting up on that Monday night. I guess it would have been Monday morning for them to arrive.
Yes, well, I had fallen asleep on the couch and was waiting for them. So.
And so it was early in the morning.
Yes.
5:30 or so. in the
Yes.
morning when they actually got there.
Yes,
And you saw the Dodge Durango pull up, and it was pulling the U-Haul trailer.
I didn't see it pull up.
Oh, okay. I believe, actually, I recall now that you said that there was a knock on the door,
Yes,
and you were asleep, and that's when you went to answer the door, and they had arrived.
yes.
And what were the kinds of things that you did that morning with Amanda and the children there at the house?
On Monday morning, we just played with the kids. I was excited about seeing the kids. I'd never seen them before. And we played with the kids and fed them, and I think after that they laid down and took a nap.
When you say they, you talking about the boys or
I think all of them. I think they
everybody?
all laid down.
Amanda,
Yeah.
Grant, and
Yes, and I think I went to the grocery store.
now, that morning when you saw Amanda, everything appeared to be normal, didn't it?
Yes,
She didn't appear to be upset about anything, did she?
no. She seemed to be tired.
And that was because they had traveled, am I correct?
I figured it was because she just had a new baby and she was trying to take care of two toddlers. She was tired and had a lot to do. She was
And
busy.
at that point, Lily was only about a month old at that point.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Now, you indicated in a response to a question Mr. Zellinger asked, how long Grant slept that day. And I believe there might have been some confusion as whether it was 2 hours or 7 hours.
It was a long time. I don't know exact, but I'm thinking it was more like the 7 hours.
And did Amanda sleep during some of that same period of time?
Yes.
And how long did she sleep?
I don't remember how long she slept, but it wasn't that long. Probably with the kids sleeping. She was up to take care of the kids when they.
And throughout the day on Monday, everything seemed normal, didn't it?
Yes.
There was not a hint of anything unusual.
No, not at all.
Now, that Monday night, did you see Grant and Amanda in the yard talking at any time that Monday night?
I don't remember seeing them out in the yard talking because the kids were in the house and they were at my home and I was entertaining the kids and trying to play with the kids. That.
So you were in the house doing children things?
Yes.
And Grant and Amanda were not in the house, were they?
I don't remember exactly. They were in there some of the time, but not the whole time.
And were you in there when Amanda came to bed that night? Or had you already gone to bed?
On Monday night, I would have been there when she went to bed that night.
Now, the next morning, when you got up, where was Amanda?
She was probably still in bed when I got up, because I get up real early.
And when she got up, is that when she asked you if she could talk to you? That she had something important to tell you?
I think we'd already eaten breakfast because I was washing dishes when she came in to tell me that she needed to talk to me.
And is that when you and she went out to the swing?
Yes.
Where was Grant when you and she sat down on the swing?
The swing is on the far part of my yard, on the right-hand side, and it's a ways over to my driveway, and that's where their vehicle was parked. And he was standing at the back part of the drive of the vehicle, or on that side of it. He would have been on the opposite side from us. Not behind it, but kind of behind it, but right there at the corner, but not behind it. He could be seen there.
When you sat down on the swing, did Grant come around?
Yes, Amanda asked me if he could come over to sit down with us.
So she asked if he could be present
Yes,
during the discussion.
yes,
Did he come over?
yes, sir.
And that's when Amanda told you that she had shoved Laura and she had hurt her bad.
That's when we had the conversation, yes.
And was that the essence of the conversation, was that she had shoved Laura and that she had hurt her bad?
When we were on the swing, she didn't say that. When I was in the kitchen, she told me Laura was dead, that she had done it. And when we went out to the swing, I didn't ask because I was still trying to figure out what I had just heard. And they just started talking about the things, the places to go, a hole somewhere.
Do I?
They just started talking about a hole, if I knew where there was a big hole somewhere.
But what Amanda had told you was that she was the one who had hurt Laura.
Yes,
And Grant was standing right there when she said it, wasn't
yes.
he? And that's when,
When she said, okay, Amanda told me in the kitchen, when it's just her and I in there, I was standing there, had the water running, doing dishes, and she came in and told me, I'm pretty sure she told me, Laura's dead, and I did it. When we went out to the swing, I do not remember mentioning it again that way. Or I know that she had told me that, I don't remember her saying that she had pushed her. I think that I pushed her comes from me thinking that's what happened.
okay, you gathered from the conversation, something was said that led you to believe that she had pushed you.
Yes,
And while you're on the swing, she asked you, can Grant come over?
yes,
And that's when he came from around the trailer and joined you.
yes.
Now, after that is when, did Grant ask you about the well then?
Yes.
Or was he asking about a hole of some kind?
He was asking if I knew of any property where there was a hole, big hole. And I just told him no, because I still didn't know what was really going on. I said no. And he said, well, what about, isn't that a well right there? And I said, well, that's not that type of well. It doesn't have a hole.
Now, that morning, when you were talking to Amanda, she was upset, wasn't she?
Yes.
You recall that she was crying?
I don't remember if she was crying. I don't remember that.
But you could tell that she was visibly upset.
Yes.
Now, I know there were 3 conversations with police officers, and that different things were said at different times, but let's, what I'd like to do is concentrate on what was said, or what you observed that day, not what was being said as time went by to police officers.
Objection on the form of the question.
It wasn't a question. It was a comment. Do you have a question?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
Did you tell Grant that the well wasn't really a hole, that it was not someplace where he could put a body?
Yes, sir. Well, I didn't say not could put a body there, but I said it didn't, the well didn't have a hole.
At this point, no one had actually told you that there was a body in the trailer, U-Haul trailer, was, you had,
No, sir.
that was something that you had concluded based upon the conversation that was taking place.
Yes, sir.
And at some point that day, you took a look at the septic tank.
Yes, sir.
Grant asked you, was it possible to put the body in the septic tank?
I don't remember any asking that exactly. I don't remember. I don't remember asking to put the body. I just know they'd asked for the big hole.
Did he at some time during that day ask you where he could buy some acid?
Yes, sir.
And did you suggest the Home Depot?
Well, he said it wasn't, okay, I don't remember what question you just asked me, but he had said something about that he needed to get some acid. And I said, well, I don't even know where to get it. And he said, well, like a Home Depot or somewhere like that. And I said, well, there's a Home Depot up the road.
And did he ask them to borrow your car or your truck?
I don't remember who asked. I wouldn't have let Grant drive my vehicles. I didn't really know him.
And, well, they couldn't drive the Durango because the U-Haul trailer was hooked to it.
Yes, sir.
wasn't it?
That's right.
So that was why you were being asked about your vehicle, correct?
Yes, Amanda's, she's like a daughter to me. She's welcome to my vehicles. I didn't really ask.
And throughout the time that you were with Amanda on Tuesday, she was upset, wasn't she?
Yes, sir.
Later, Candace, your other daughter, came over to visit sometime as darkly as her.
Yes, sir.
Had Grant asked about the creek at that point?
I don't remember who asked about the creek. I just know that it came up. I don't remember exactly who asked about the creek at that point.
Do you recall who asked about a boat?
I don't know if the boat was even talked about at that point. The boat had already been talking about just knowing that the boys were could go fishing or whatever. I know at one point Grant had said something about he wanted to take the boys out in the boat because to take them fishing, and I had told him that probably wouldn't be a good idea to take the boys in the boat to go fishing because there's alligators in the creek, and for two little boys that, I just didn't feel like it would be safe to take them in the boat.
Do you remember when you had the conversation with Grant about taking the boys out on the boat to go fishing? Where in the sense of that Tuesday?
I don't remember when he asked that.
Were you present when Candace, your other daughter, came over that afternoon?
Yes, sir.
And was it getting dark as Candace was there?
Yes, sir.
And at some point during that period of time, as it got dark, Grant and Amanda left, didn't they?
Yes, sir.
Now, during that Tuesday, had you seen any Have you seen those coolers that you later saw?
On Tuesday, I didn't see the coolers till Wednesday.
They weren't sitting out in the yard on
No,
Tuesday,
sir.
were they? Nor had they been sitting out in the yard on Monday.
No, sir.
At what point did the piece of furniture get taken out of the back of the U-Haul?
I thought it was Monday night, but I don't know for sure that it was Monday. But yes, I do. It was Monday night because it was out before they went out in the boat. They went out in the boat on Tuesday night. I think the furniture was taken out on Monday night.
So it said that it was out there Monday night, or was it out there sometime Tuesday morning?
Well, it would have been early Tuesday morning. They was taken out sometime.
Sometime during the night and been taken off of the
Yes.
trailer and taken and placed in the yard.
Yes,
And your sons were the ones who placed it up on the back porch.
yes,
Where it was later found.
yes.
Is that correct? Now, I believe that you were at home waiting, if I heard you correctly, that Tuesday night for Amanda and Grant to return from wherever it was that they had gone.
Yes, sir.
Because you were going to go pick up your son, Dalton.
Yes, sir.
Were you aware that on that Tuesday that Amanda had dialed 911 on Dalton's cell phone?
No, I wasn't. I know she used it, but I didn't know it.
You knew at some point that Amanda had gotten Dalton's cell phone from him,
Yes.
but you don't know about her efforts to dial 911?
No, I didn't.
Have you ever talked to Dalton about him seeing the 911 call on his cell phone?
No, I haven't.
You indicated at some point that you talked to Amanda about whether she was covering for Grant.
Yes, sir.
Was that on Wednesday morning?
It was just before they were leaving.
Now, what you did was, you hadn't believed Amanda, had you?
Objection.
I'm going to require you to be more specific. When? I'll let you rephrase. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
You hadn't believed Amanda when she told you that she was the person who had hurt Laura, did you?
When she first told me, I didn't even believe that it had happened. I didn't even believe, but over the little bit of the time and stuff, I just sensed that she was lying to me, that she had lied to me.
And you had known Amanda during all those years when you were raising her, hadn't you?
Yes, sir.
You knew when Amanda was lying to you, what did you?
Most of the time, yes.
And you could look her in the eye and tell it, couldn't you?
That's when I could tell, yes.
And that was why you developed the rule with Amanda and your own children about telling you the truth whenever you suspected that they were telling you a lie.
Yes, sir.
What you would do was tell them, I want you to look me in the eye. I'm going to give you one chance to tell me the truth. Correct?
Yes, sir.
That Wednesday morning, did you sit Amanda down and tell her that I'm going to give you one chance to tell me the truth about what's happening here? And what I want to know is, are you covering for Grant? Do you recall that?
I had her sit down on the couch. She was coming through, and I stopped her and I said, Amanda, I said, I need you to sit down here for a minute. I need to talk to you. And she said, okay, I got to hurry. I said, well, just sit down. And she sat down, And I said, I'm going to ask you one time only. I said, and I'm never going to bring it up to you again. I said, but I want you to look me in the face right now and look me in the eye and answer me. I said, are you covering for Grant? And it was like the little look of when she was a little girl. And she just kind of melted and said, she never said a word, but she nodded her head yes to me, that yes,
Nodded her head
she was
yes,
covering for
indicating
Grant.
that she had been covering for Grant.
Yes.
How long after that were they packing the,
They were already packing because they were getting ready to leave.
so that conversation that you had with Amanda about covering for Grant was one of the last times that you spoke with her while she was on this?
Yes.
After she left, is that when one of your sons told you that they had found a machete in? Sorry, thought this was all. I apologize. After Amanda and Grant and the two boys and Lily had left, is that when one of your sons told you that they had found a machete in the driveway?
They found, I don't know exactly when they told me, because I don't remember if the boys were there or gone to work or what when they left. So, but it was after they left that they had told me. I just don't know exactly when.
Now, that machete didn't belong to you or your boys,
No, sir.
and you didn't want either one of your sons to have access to that machete, did you?
I didn't want them to touch it. I knew it wasn't. First thing I asked them if it was theirs, because they have machetes. But I didn't want them to touch it.
You didn't want them to what?
Touch it. I didn't want them to touch the machete. Because when they told me, as a matter of fact, one of them had told me it was out there in the driveway and that it belonged to Grant, that it wasn't theirs.
And did you go get it and put it in the shed where?
Not immediately, because I just told them to stay away from it. And then the more it was out there, because I have hard-headed boys and they will listen to me, and I was afraid that one of them would get it or pick it up or something, so then I went out and picked it up and moved it.
And put it in the shed?
Yes, and put it in the shed.
Was there conversation about Amanda being in danger? It's between you and your boys?
After they had
Objection,
left?
Your Honor.
Yes,
Um,
after they left.
One, just a minute,
After they left,
just a minute. Overall, did you have a conversation with either of your sons concerning your conversation with Amanda?
Did I have with their
With your
about
boys?
the conversation she
yeah.
told me? No, I didn't.
Did you talk to your boys about what she told you?
No.
Okay.
did you talk to anyone, or did anyone talk to you about Amanda potentially being in danger?
Same objection.
Sustained? Well, you tell anyone that you thought Amanda was in danger?
I didn't talk to anyone about it.
Okay,
I didn't.
thank you. Go to your next question.
Um,
No. He has another question. Go to your next question.
Were you concerned that Amanda was in danger on the trip back to Raleigh?
What? Yes, I was.
Explain that, if you will.
You can ask her another question.
Were you concerned for Amanda's welfare after she left your home in Texas because you were convinced that Grant was the one who had killed Laura?
Objection?
Sustain to that. I mean, sustain to the form of that question.
Were you concerned?
You can ask her why she was concerned. Don't tell her why she's concerned.
Why were you
Okay.
concerned?
Well, I had been here, even with everything I'd already heard, I still just wasn't believing things. But then once my children started checking on the computer and finding out that Laura was missing, and then after with what Amanda had told me and stuff, and I was starting to believe more that this had happened. And yes, I was scared. I was basically scared that someone was going to call me and tell me they found Amanda and the kid's dead somewhere.
I have another time.
All right.
That's all.
All right. Any redirect?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Ms. Berry, you told detectives back on July 24th that you could tell by Amanda's eyes that she had hurt her bad, didn't you?
On the 24th, would that be on the Monday? I don't know what you're, I don't know.
The Sunday when you were in.
That I could tell by her eyes that she had hurt her bad?
Yeah, did you say that it scared you that Amanda told you that Laura had told her that because she took her kid, she was going to take her baby, and that Amanda told you that she shoved her, that she hurt her, that she hurt her bad?
I don't remember her, anything about her eyes, seeing anything in her eyes that day. I don't remember seeing that. And I still think that what she told me she was dead and that she did it, and that was in the kitchen. And when we were outside, she told me about that Laura had told her that she would take in her kids and that she would take hers.
Okay.
But
And when you talked with Amanda in the kitchen, it was just you and Amanda?
it was just Amanda and I.
And you were asked about Amanda's demeanor. At that point, she told you that Laura was dead and she had done it. Is that correct?
What it is the water was running, and she come in there, and I don't remember who was in the house or what, but when she come in and told me, she told it, but she didn't say it to me real loud or anything like that. She had said it, and she said it, but it was kind of like because the water was running, I heard her, but I didn't, and it wasn't real profound what she said, but I know that's what she said.
At that moment, you're asked some questions about what you believe. You desperately didn't want to believe her at that moment, didn't you?
No, I didn't want to believe her.
And we went outside of the swing, and Amanda's asking you about the septic tank and acid, or Brent asked you about acid. You didn't want to believe them then. Is that true?
I don't really know what I wanted to do because I really wasn't, I just heard this. I wasn't even really comprehending. I just wasn't comprehending what was going on at the time.
And out there at the swing, Amanda told you that she would do whatever it took to protect her family.
She told me she would do whatever it took to protect her family, that Lily needed her dad.
Okay. And in the living room later, at some point over those 2 or 3 days, She told you that they needed to get back because there was a custody exchange on Friday.
They had told me that on Monday.
Okay, they told you that on Monday, and they still maintained throughout this entire 3 days that they needed to get back for that custody exchange.
Yes.
Okay.
On Monday, when she told me about they told me about the custody probably on Monday evening. Monday evening.
And Amanda mentioned to you on Monday that they weren't supposed to take the children over state line. Is that correct?
Amanda and Grant told me.
And when you were interviewed by detectives, you had had that conversation already where you claimed that Amanda had nodded her head that she was covering for Grant. That occurred on Wednesday.
When she nodded her head occurred on Wednesday.
That
Yes.
was on Wednesday. And that had already happened when detectives came to your house and you told them that you need to pray before you spoke to them. Is that accurate?
Yes.
And that had already happened before you told detectives, I can't stand the thought of facing Amanda in court. That conversation had already occurred, correct?
That her telling me that. Yes.
That had already happened before you told detectives, please take care of her when you pick her up, please.
Yes.
And you still said those things to detectives when you were being interviewed.
Yes, I was worried about her.
You were asked some questions, or you might have brought this up, that at some point Shelton and Dalton looked on the computer about seeing Laura missing.
I don't think it was Shelton and Dalton.
Okay,
It
who
was.
looked up?
I don't know exactly who, but some of my kids. I don't remember exactly who.
Okay, and when that happened,
And it might have been Dalton. It might have been Dalton. He might have been one of them. I think there was a couple of the kids looking.
sure. But at some point you became aware that, I guess, the news was reporting that Laura Ackerson was missing.
Yes.
Okay. And after you found that information out, that's when you put that machete in the barn?
I don't remember if it was before or after.
And around that time is when, either before or after, is when you took those towels and hid them in the barn?
Yes.
Nothing further.
Anything else?
And just one point. Mr. Zellinger asked you if on Monday, Amanda indicated that they were gonna need to get back to Raleigh by Friday in order that they could deliver the boys to Laura for the normal Friday exchange. Correct?
So you're asking me if it was on Monday?
Was that on Monday?
It was Monday evening.
When you were talking to Amanda on Monday about getting the boys back to meet Laura on Friday, Amanda was indicating to you at that time that she believed that Laura was alive, wasn't she?
Well, we didn't talk about her being alive or what. We were just talking about that they had to get the boys back because they weren't supposed to take them across the state line.
And that they were going to meet Laura on Friday.
Yes. That they had to get her back so that,
They
yeah.
planned to meet that she at least planned to meet Laura on that Friday.
Yes.
Let me ask you one other question. Is Amanda someone who is easily controlled by men?
Objection?
Sustain. Sustain.
Do you recall telling the detectives that Amanda's husband, Nicky Smith, had been a controlling man?
Yes, sir.
And that you recall telling the detectives that Amanda was someone who was easily controlled by men?
Objection?
Overall? You may answer.
I don't know if I said it that exact way. I think that times that she was controlled by men.
Thank you, ma'am. That's all I have.
All right, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.